Where do you think we are in this market cycle for Bitcoin? Is Bitcoin somewhere over in the denial phase? Are we in the panic phase? Are we in the anxiety phase? Are we down here at the depression phase? Where are we? What do you think in terms of where we are? In today's video, I'm going to give substantial data and evidence, and I'm going to tell you where I think we are and what I think is a realistic price prediction for Bitcoin for the whole rest of this year. This is a video that you and I will be able to come back to and see if we did well or we did very poorly. But I want you to start right now with picking where you think we are in this market cycle, and then I'm going to give evidence and we're going to break it down, and it's going to be really fun. Welcome in if you're new. My name is Steve. On this channel, we do it different. We stand out from the crowd and we base it all on the facts in the charts. Hit that subscribe button and let's get into the video. So with this market cycle, since the dawn of time, we have been following this type of cycle in every market category known to man. Everything that has a monetary value attached to it follows this type of pattern. And the reason is simple. Humans have a very difficult time with emotion with money. Humans have too much greed with money, and we have too much anxiety with money, and we have too much hopium with money, and we really struggle with money. Humans as a species really struggle with anything that has monetary value. So we usually follow these psychological positions in market cycles, right? It starts out with this kind of disbelief, and then we start rallying and people have some type of optimism, but there's a lot of people that are still very bearish, and the bearish people are waiting for lower prices, and the hopium people think that it's going to go to the moon. And then we keep going up, and the people that said, oh, let's go into the moon, they say, see, and it's going to go way, 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 way higher. And people that were bearish before, they start to believe a tiny bit, and then the market continues up. And then the bears are like, oh, this is a real thing. Okay, I'm going to invest now. So the bears who were bearish way back here, who kept waiting for lower prices, they usually invest in this thrill phase. And usually the people that invested back here, that were optimistic here, are overly optimistic now, and they believe we're going to go substantially higher. But we never do. We usually top off very, very quickly after that thrill phase, and then there's usually a big dramatic drop right away. And this big dramatic drop gets people into a frenzy. And the bears are like, oh, see, I told you. And then the bulls are like, oh, there's no way. This is a short-term drop. We're going to go back to the moon just like we always do. And we have a large rally out of that. It happens in every market. It happens in every single Bitcoin market. But that large rally out of it really confuses the bulls. And the bulls are like, see, I told you we're going to go back to an all-time high. And then we plummet, right? A lot of bears will actually buy into this position as well because they got burned so bad over here that they want to make up for it, and they get burned again. What usually happens in markets is Bitcoin in every market will do the opposite of what the majority think, and it's all based on human psychology, right? So as price falls, there's a lot of fear that comes into the market. There's a lot of pandemonium. There's a lot of blood in the streets. We have capitulation. We have panic. We have denial, all of the above, and then the market moves sideways for a while. During this whole period of the market moving sideways, everybody expects substantially lower prices. It just never happens, right? The bears are always saying it's going to fall way, 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 way more. It just never does. And the bulls are always wondering, oh, is it time to buy or should I wait? Should I wait for next week? Should I sell now and buy when it goes lower? There's always this understanding that at these bottoms of the market, everyone gets destroyed the same way they get destroyed at the top. Nobody knows what the hell to do. Nobody has any concrete evidence. Nobody's looking at anything clearly. It's all with emotion. And then we start rising again. And the bears are like, oh, see, this is a fake out rally. There's no way this is going to continue. We're going to have lower prices. And the Bitcoin bulls are like, this is it. We're going back to the moon, new all-time high next week. So it just repeats itself. Now, I want to give you evidence of the charts and for you to dictate where we are in the cycle. And what I've done is I've highlighted highlighted a couple key areas here dating back to 2012 and 2015. We have this green channel here. 2012, we had this green channel here. 2019, we had this green channel here, and we are in our green channel now. And I'm going to back it up with some evidence, but before we even get to that, what I want to do is point out this disbelief phase that comes out. It's basically a large rally in a bear market, right? This disbelief phase is a large rally in a bear market. And if we take it quite literally, this disbelief rally rallied higher than the most fearful points of the entire market. And I do want to point out just some similarities. We've had a large rally, the largest of the bear market, and it's higher than those other points during the worst of the worst. Now, as we continue, I'm going to show some more evidence, but what I want to do is show you just based on this chart we have right here. This is Steve's bear market bottoms, bull market tops. All of my FFA students have this indicator completely free. This is a really cool indicator. When you're in this green channel, this is literally the best time to ever buy Bitcoin, is when we're in this green channel. We were in it here. We were in it shortly during the COVID crisis. We were in it here for precisely the same amount of time that we were in 2015. What's really cool is in 2015, we were in it for this period of time. It's the same exact time for 2023. We've compared the fractal patterns of 2015, 2023 for about a year now, and they've been lining up to the T, so it's obviously something to pay attention to. So if we just clear the chart and we look at 2015 and 2023, you can see in 2015 we had this long period of in the channel, which is the best time to buy. Then we had a breakout above the channel in this green zone, and we were in this green zone for about 200 days. Now, during that 200 days, the market literally moved sideways for 200 days building structure. And if we look at present day, we've been building that structure now for 56 days. So could we have 150 more days of sideways action? We definitely could. Could it be 100 days? Sure. But right now, it's a boring part of the market. The market's moving sideways. The market's building healthy market structure for the future. That's what it's doing. This is case in point. Every time we've come out of this green zone, it's been a pretty boring market. You can go all the way back to 2012. We were in this green zone, best time to buy. Break out of this green zone sideways for, let's see, how many days did we move sideways here? 140 days. So you're looking at that 200, 150-ish of moving sideways, of being relatively boring. The key is we want to hold support at this green zone, which we were able to do back there in 2012. We were able to do in 2015. We were able to do here, coming out of this green channel of the COVID crash. We were able to move sideways and build market structure for about 168 days before the explosion of price, which leads us to today, right? The reason that we're making this video is this is a realistic prediction for Bitcoin, just based on pure facts. Now, one thing I'll say is the high price for Bitcoin, the highest price we can go, we have to look at the highest price in 2018, 2019. This was the most parabolic rally we've ever had coming out of a bear market, right? And you can see it rallied up to this white line, but you can see the rally was not as high as the previous all-time high. We can look at a prior cycle. We rallied all the way up here the first year of that bull run. But this price was not nearly as high as the highest price. So that first year of coming out of here, we historically have not had a new all-time high. And we can go back to 2012 when the market was incredibly volatile. We were down here in this green channel. The first year out of the green channel, the highest price we reached was again near this white line, which again was not as high as the previous all-time high. So we can say unequivocally, whether you're a Bitcoin bear and you're looking for lower prices, or you're a Bitcoin bull and you think it's going to the moon, when you look at the facts are the facts. The first year coming out of this green channel, we never made a new all-time high. So for Bitcoin bulls to say, hey, this time is different, we are somehow in the first year of coming out of this channel going to somehow rally to a new all-time high, we can say that it's highly unlikely to happen based on all of the facts. We've never done it before. And in fact, before we've always done pretty much the same move. And if we break it down, I'll show it to you. So this was the highest price. This was the the highest price we went to, it was about 50% below the highest price. The 50% below was our highest price of that first year rally out of the bear market. Then we look at 2015. This was the highest price the first year out of that bear market, and we'll take the percentage, and we're at about 37%. So the highest rally was about 37% below the previous all-time high. And if we look at 2019, this was our previous all-time high, just about 20K, and this was our highest rally of that year, and it's about 30% below. So we went from about 50% to about 40% to about 30%, right? So even if that was the case and we say, okay, 50, 40, 30, maybe this is 20% below, we'll take like the absolute best scenario of what the highest could be, and then we have to see if it makes logical sense, right? So the highest price was up here, and if we're on average, 40-ish% below, we're looking at a high price of about 41,000 for the first year coming out of that green channel. But the best case scenario, we can even call it 20 if we want to do the math and say it went from 50 to about 40 to about 30. How about this, about 20? We're talking about 55K would be the highest price of this year. Now, what I will say is structurally 55K doesn't make a lot of sense. We have a lot of action at that 48K level, and that was also the breaking point of our downfall. So that 48K level is also structurally pretty sound with all the price action, which is why I put the highest price that Bitcoin could reach in 2023 at about 48K. Now, some people will watch this video and they'll say, oh, Steve predicted 48K in 2023. No, I wish that you would listen to the words and make sure that we're clear. The highest price, the best case scenario would be 48K. Now, let's get to the most realistic, because this video is about a realistic prediction for Bitcoin. A realistic prediction is, as we said about 5-6 weeks ago, when we first came into this area and we were first coming out of this green zone, we said that the next 100 to 200 days could move sideways, and it could be very, very boring, and 31K could be the top of that with us moving sideways, meaning we don't reach higher than 31K for about 1 or 200 days. That was almost 2 months ago, and here we are almost 60 days later, and we've been moving sideways, and it's relatively boring. But this is par for the course. Anytime you come out of a bear market and you have the largest rally that pulls you out, which again, we believe we're in phase 1 of the bull based on all the facts that we study, the next 100-ish days from now could be relatively boring. And if they are, it's not the end of the world. And if they are, it's actually very healthy for Bitcoin, because that's building market structure. It's what we didn't do back in 2019, which is why that was short-lived. It's what we did do in 2015, which is why we had a very healthy and long sustainable bull run. So the boring move that you see back in 2015, we reached the highest price right when we came out, right here, and then we didn't reach a higher price for a few hundred days, and then we were off to the races, building market structure. I want to draw the attention back to here. As we talked about in the beginning of the video, I wanted you to pick where you believe we are in this cycle. As again, every market moves in these particular fashion based on human psychology and our difficulty and our greed with money. Now, where I believe we are is right here. We're in the disbelief phase. We just had the largest rally coming out of a bear. We moved into a bull. There's a lot of disbelief that we're in a bull. There will continue to be disbelief that we're in a bull. And we're going to move sideways and have choppy action similar to this. And then we're going to start moving up into the hope phase. But right now, we're in the disbelief phase. There's substantial evidence that we are, particular price action, particular the movement of every single bear that we've had so far, in particular the movement of every single start of the bull we've had so far in terms of particular ranges, specific market structure. Anything that you study, it tells us that we're in this type of phase. And then you want to look at the public opinion. The public opinion is pretty much split right now, which again leads even deeper into this disbelief phase. If you have a lot of people not believing, then we're in good shape. If everyone believed that we're about to go to the moon, you probably want to do the opposite. But when we're split, you look at, okay, which phase in here is it really a tug of war with bulls and bears? It's here more than anything else. the disbelief phase. Down here, even the Bitcoin bulls are like, you know what, this is horrific. So if you look at where in this market cycle is the biggest tug of war, it's here. When we just had a long extended bear market, when we have just had the largest rally, and a lot of people are saying it's a sucker's rally. This is not going to be sustainable, that we're about to plummet again. This is where I believe we are based on everything that I study about Bitcoin. So a realistic prediction for Bitcoin would be that the next 100-ish days moves sideways. It's very boring. It's very methodical. And then we start to build some structure and start to stair step our way up. The best case scenario would be 48K, 50K Bitcoin. But a more realistic prediction would be, let's get Bitcoin to break a $40,000 level towards the end of 2023. That would be a relatively realistic prediction for Bitcoin. But that's the way I see it happening, and that's the knowledge I want to share with you based on the facts that I study in the charts. Let me know your realistic prediction down below. If you think Bitcoin is going to see 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 later this year, which I know a lot of folks do, especially in the comment section, let me know that as well, and we'll have that debate. And I'll see you right back here in the next video. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs. Do you want less stress and more success in crypto? Click this video right now.